So, hi everybody. Welcome back to Two Limes and a Lemon. I'm Dave, and I'm joined with Natalie and Danielle.
Hi.
Hey.
This is another step, once more, our final step. We're getting to a checkpoint now of Into the Woods. Our ongoing journey through the weird and wild and wonderful filmography of our best boy.
Your best boy.
Elijah Wood. Well, are you guys warming up to him a bit more?
No.
I never hated him.
Oh yeah, I never hated him.
Well, are you seeing him a bit more from my eyes?
No. Not at the minute.
This collection of 3 films has not, bumped him higher onto my list.
I'm sure we'll get there. But, okay, so this week, spoiler alert, we're looking at the film, the 1990 movie, Child in the Night. So if you've not seen the film, pause the podcast.
Go on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can't find it. It's not on any DVD anywhere, so you're going to have to go on YouTube and sit for it like we did. And you're in for a big fun ride. It's a made-for-TV thriller that features our young boy, Elijah Wood, now 9 years old now. He's playing a traumatized boy called Luke with a vivid imagination and possibly the key to solving a murder. It's moody, it's melodramatic, and it's got some very 90s TV movie energy.
Are we having theme music? How do we... Is it just start with us talking?
Yeah, Dave's gonna do us some, a jingle, I think.
Dave!
Nah.
Danielle.
Two Limes
and a Lemon.
Okay, so first of all, we want to have a little look at our own consumption of things. So that's media, that's food, that's whatever you want. What have you been doing this week, Nat? Go with you. What have you been consuming?
I am going to go with Mayor of Easttown with Kate Winslet and Evan Peters. I suppose it's like a murder mystery, but it's got a lot of twists and turns. I really enjoyed it. Have either of you seen it?
I've not heard of it.
I did.
What's it about? Is it a film?
No, it's a series, or like a mini-series, I suppose. It's only 8 episodes, and I don't think there's a season 2, so...
What's it about? In a quick sum up. Why would I want to watch it?
Quick synopsis. Why would you want to watch it? Well, you love Kate Winslet.
I
so
do.
That's your first pull of the show. But basically, she is a detective in a small town where she pretty much knows everybody. There is a few girls that have gone missing in this town, and she is trying to find out who's responsible. Are the deaths, and I think some of them are missing, but some of them she's found the bodies. Are they connected? She gets paired up with Evan Peters, who's this young whiz detective from another state, and he's brought in to help her try and solve the case because she's finding it difficult. So it's obviously about them trying to overcome their differences in their way of policing. She's one that's been doing it for ages, and he's, in her eyes, like a rookie, but it's good. Okay. It's quite dark.
Got a good dynamic.
Yeah, it's kind of them Scandi kind of mysteries that you get, but obviously it's not Scandi, it's in America.
Oh, okay, Danielle, what have you been consuming?
I read a book this week that I read in a day, actually. I read in the evening after work. And
Jane Run Jane.
No, it's a short novella, but it's called Strange Houses, and it's by a Japanese guy called Uketsu. And his shtick is his author picture is he's all in a black, fully covered outfit, his face fully covered with a white mask on it.
Okay.
And it's not a super in-depth story, but it's very clever and creepy, which is why I liked it. So Strange Houses is the main character learns about this house that a friend of his goes to buy, and they're looking at the plan of the house, and there's some weird rooms and the way some things are set up. And so the book has the drawings of the plan, and then they realize if they superimpose the plans, there might be secret passages, and they come out that there's probably some sort of murder. And so the whole thing is like a conversation between these two characters, just studying these plans and trying to figure out what's going to happen. And then some people involved with that house kind of come into their lives, and you learn more of the story. And then there's another house that probably the same family lived in that also had kind of a weird plan to it that might have been for some nefarious reason. I don't know, it was a nice, quick little novella, and it was kind of creepy and weird, and I enjoyed it. I'm now reading the previous book by the same author called Strange Pictures.
Well, You've not sold me on that. I'm not going to read any more books.
Well, any books, not even just those books.
Any books in general. I'm just waiting on Nat's book, and that's the last book I'll ever read.
Oh my god, no pressure.
No pressure. The ending didn't do it for me, so I never read a book ever again. What have I been doing? Dread Flats I've been looking at with Natalie. We sat together and we played a little bit of a horror game.
Oh yeah, I was like, I recognise that. I actually played it with you.
You're a man that's for some reason into spooky ghosts, and you've heard that there's a spooky ghost in a block of abandoned flats. So you have somehow contacted the owner and you've rented out a room that's in this scary atmosphere. So it's a demo. There's a full game, but we played the demo. And the idea is that you've on Steam on the PC.
Okay.
It's not console based. And the idea with this, you get your camera. It's all quite. The graphics are quite good for what we're looking at. It's quite creepy. The atmosphere's there. I was on edge throughout the whole thing. We played it twice because it kind of had a little bump when Nat was playing it. We couldn't.
Well, it glitched twice. To be fair, both times we played it. The first time it was stuck in like Korean, I think, so we couldn't read any of the signs or what it was telling us to do. And then the next time we played it, Dave played it, and then it got stuck that it wouldn't progress the story. So
yeah. So that was our experience. But did you see the jump scare face?
No. I saw the marbles.
Yeah. So there's this bit where I was generally like, oh crap. So like you find some marbles in a room that's making all this noise. And you're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave now. And when you turn round, there's like a face staring at you at the corner of the room, and then it quickly goes out into the room that you need to go investigate. So like, for me, I was like, oh, okay, it's terrifying. But Nat didn't see it twice, so we were all like, oh. You're just like, I can't. What are we looking at?
This seems like a perfectly normal house to me.
So anyway, enough of what we've been up to. The film. What is it about, Nat?
Oh, a quick synopsis. Okay, so Elijah Wood and his father are at his father's office. I believe he runs some sort of shipyard from what I can remember. And then his dad tells him to stay in the room because
like a bird gets thrown through the window.
Oh,
a chicken, not alive, I believe, like one you would roast up, gets thrown through the window. So his dad tells him, stay in here, and he goes down to confront whoever it
just
is.
like that.
Well, pretty much. He is just like, stay in here, and he like hides him behind a chair. He goes down to the docks to confront a man who was very reminiscent of like, I know what you did last summer. It's a fisherman in like a slicker, and he's got a hook for a hand, pretty much. Father gets murdered. Elijah watches it all. So then we skip to the detective, who is Tom Skerritt. He's going to investigate Elijah Wood's dad's murder. He comes to talk to him about it, but he's so traumatized he couldn't possibly tell anybody what he just witnessed. In fact, lies and says he didn't see it at all. He was hid behind the chair where his dad told him to stay. So they then hire a child psychologist played by Jo Beth Williams, and she's brought in to try and convince Elijah or ease his trauma into telling them who murdered his father.
And that's basically the premise of the movie. Is she's just trying to get him to relive those traumatic events and unpack his ideas and his imagination to find out who the killer was.
Yes, he has got quite a vivid imagination, and he likes to imagine his friends and family members as the cast of Peter Pan.
Which is like, why? Nothing to do. He's not even in a play of Peter Pan or any books of Peter Pan.
Oh, well, I suppose his dad works on boats, and Captain Hook's pretty prolific with boats. So,
and there was all about a hook as well, I guess.
Yeah, he was murdered by a hook. A very large hook, like almost comically large hook.
Yeah.
But even before that, whenever they come into the opening scene, Elijah Wood's got like a fake sword, and he's swashbuckling.
Oh, yeah. And he play fights with his dad, doesn't he? And we have a very long conversation about anchovies on pizza. Yeah.
He's very much like, why do you want anchovies? Because no one has it. Okay, well, I know someone that has it, and it's Elijah Wood.
That's his last conversation.
But what did you think of the film as a whole?
What's some of my first impressions?
Yeah, what was your impressions of it? Would you like, this is something?
Do you know what? I think the premise of it's quite good. Once they'd introduced all the characters, I was like, it's just a pretty standard murder mystery, really. It's like a whodunit. Even though if you are really paying attention, you can work out who's done it straight away. When Elijah is imagining these characters as Peter Pan characters, his grandfather is playing Captain Hook. And funnily enough, that's the same person that killed his dad. So if you've watched it from the start and you see it, think, oh, there's a guy with a hook. Maybe he's the killer.
Yeah, exactly. Danielle, what did you think of it? Did you thought was you bored instantly, or was you like, you know what?
Don't put words in my mouth. Let me answer my question.
Yeah, Danielle, I heard you hate it.
Well, yeah. Heard you hate it. I heard you wrote a whole blog on it.
So going into this, was seeing that it was a TV movie, I was a little worried. But I will say it gave me a little nostalgia. I grew up with these TV movies of this caliber, where they would get sort of popular movie stars of the time, and it was like a whole event. They would advertise it for the whole week, and it was exciting to sit down with the family on a Sunday night and watch this mystery. Yeah, I thought there were parts of it I really didn't like. There were parts that I thought were quite clever, and so I came out on the side of, yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, same. I kind of thought, like, the movie itself was weird. Like, right near the end, when the grandfather's revealed that he's the killer, I wasn't really watching what was going on.
Right.
Because I kind of, like you said, Nat, you kind of know that, that's the granddad playing Captain
I don't
Hook.
think it was, though. I thought it was a different actor.
Was it not? It looked
I thought
like
it was
him.
exactly the same actor. Oh, well, now I'm going to research that while you're talking.
I feel like the film, although it was an hour and a half, it could have been like an episode on TV.
Yes.
Because it was like, it kept palming round to that. Luke just doesn't want to talk about what he's seen, and we'll just keep doing that scene over and over again in different environments until he's got to the point where they're like, okay, well, we're going to get rid of the psychiatrist if you don't talk to her and tell her what happened. It's that for like an hour and 20 minutes until right at the end where the reveal of the killer. I was a bit like,
That didn't bother me. That seemed
Yeah.
realistic to me because, like, I imagine, like a traumatized child, it's very difficult to kind of get them to reveal. And, like, he was hiding what he had seen under so many layers of imagination and lies and convincing himself of things. So I kind of like that. There were other aspects of it that I thought could have been just chopped out and it would have been functional off. But I could see this as like on a regular mystery show, like a mystery of the week. Or I would argue I would have liked to have seen the psychiatrist and the child's relationship sort of built out more. Like he had sort of a not great, like his dad seemed pretty invested in him and he had a relationship, but the mother was sort of like checked out after the dad died. And then Jo Beth Williams,
she was barely in it.
Yeah, and the psychiatrist is like living in her apartment, all boxed up, kind of living in the past, and it would have been nice. I like in my mind, I was like, oh, they're going to become like a surrogate mother-child situation, and that didn't really happen.
The mum might get killed or something.
Yeah,
I kind of think, you saying that though, I feel like the therapist, that's like her first episode. She solves this problem, and then other episodes could be like her looking into other psychotic or people that have had trauma.
But I mean, she's obviously been quite a well-respected child therapist. Obviously, she has her own trauma of that she was dealing with a school that had been crashed into by a plane. And so that's what stopped her dealing with children. That's her backstory.
Give a bit of context. What happened?
So, the way I looked at it is Elijah Wood, obviously. By the way, I'm just going to add in here, it isn't apparently the same guy that played the granddad as Captain Hook. It's some uncredited man, but they look exactly the same. I would have sworn they were the same person. So they should have cast somebody that looked different, so I didn't know who it was straight away. So Elijah Wood obviously has trauma, and so does the therapist, because she is quite adamant that she doesn't want to work with Elijah. I say Elijah, Luke is his name, obviously, at the beginning, because she has sworn off working with children forever because she's had a very traumatic event. Later on, as her and Detective Bass become closer, maybe too close, she says to him that she stopped because she worked with children in a school where a plane had crashed and killed a load of the children, and she was working with the ones that had survived. And she's pretty graphic in her descriptions of what the children had seen.
I wrote down there was sticky blood. There was like a kid who was beheaded by the swing set. Yeah. There was another kid, like a 6th grader, that committed suicide after it. It was...
Did she tell it to Elijah Wood in the park? Is that when she's like, oh, here's a bit of my trauma?
I thought she told it to the detective
she didn't tell it to Elijah.
When he asked her why.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't think she told Elijah. No, I don't think she... I think she had enough trauma going on. I think she spared him that one.
I think it's when she starts to open up to Bass before she throws herself at him.
Yeah, so should we look at the therapist played by Joe Beth first?
Yeah, I would like to touch upon the scene just because I've become the fashion police on this podcast.
Yeah.
She has some fantastic fashion.
We meet her on a date, like a not very well going date, and she is wearing a full sequenced blue dress with a matching sequenced jacket and then matching pumps and a matching bag. Like she had dyed the pumps in the bag to go with it. Like she looked like she was the mother of a bride or somebody attending like a
Liberace.
Yeah, because it was like it was like a knee-length dress, so it wasn't like a ball gown, but it was like, and she wears this dress through the first like 20 minutes or so, and just like the light, like every scene she's in, it's like sparkling because the light is catching it. It was insane.
Yeah. I mean, she turns up to the crime scene at the beginning, and then it's bad enough that they see it underneath her coat, but then she puts her coat over the dead body so that Elijah will leave it alone. So then she's in full glitz in the middle of this, like, grim crime scene.
Why have you got the therapist here straight away? Yeah, like...
They put that coat on the dead body. I completely forgot about it. And then later they give it back unwashed. Like, they're not like, oh...
yeah, he's like,
oh,
you can charge us for the dry cleaning. Oh, thanks.
And then...
You could have kept it, probably.
And obviously, she gets a bit fresh with the detective, and they get closer and closer, right?
I mean, he does come on to her quite a lot at the beginning.
Flirty.
When she's reluctant to work on the case, he does like lay it out quite thick. And then as soon as she's like, okay, then let's just like get together, then he's like, no.
Yeah,
because like he's quite quick to sort of shout out and be like, you're doing it wrong, or this is not taking too much time. Every time it's like we're getting somewhere with Luke, it's like, that's not fast enough, hypnotize him again. It's like we're breaking it, you just need to give it a little bit more time. And he just comes in, just shakes the cage and wakes up the bird again. It's like, no, just sit down.
I did say about the detective, like, he is putting too much pressure on Luke, because he should actually be doing some police work alongside this. Like, if it came out that Luke hadn't actually seen anything at the end of this, he's done no police work to actually solve this case. He is hanging all of this on, I reckon Luke's seen something, when he doesn't have any evidence to suggest, other than that there's a bit of blood on the window where Luke's cut his hand, which could have been done after the murder when he looked out to see, is my dad still out there, which could have happened.
And it did happen after the murder. He didn't put his hand up on the sharp part of the glass until after the murder was done. So technically it did happen after the murder.
Yeah. So he doesn't actually do any, like, fingerprinting, I don't think, or any of the police work.
I will say, when they go to Luke's house, and there's like a scene where he does interrogate everyone, and we kind of meet all of the other suspects in the dead man's life. But I will say, during that scene, I wanted to watch the scene between the psychiatrist and Luke, and they completely cut from that, and we end up with just Bass, who I don't like, interviewing these like throwaway characters. So that we meet the wife, and she's so like in her head, like she's so distraught she's not even thinking about the kid.
Yeah.
And then we meet the dead husband's 3 close friends who he's sort of in business with.
3 amigos.
And they're just like caricatures of characters.
Yeah. Did you think it was any of those 3?
I think they set up one of them too strong, so I knew it wasn't him. So there was the one that was obviously flipped out at everything, was really angry.
Was that the bigger guy with the receding hair?
Yeah, the bigger guy, yeah. So because they threw that in so strong, I was like, well, it definitely can't be him because they're making it too early on think that it's definitely him. Then obviously we find out about the little runty one that's like the smart one, supposedly, that he's trying to take over the business.
And he has like a special connection with the wife. Like he does things separately with her. So I for a short while I thought it might be him.
Yeah. Then obviously there was the woman that they were trying to say that the dad could have been having an affair with because they used to go to college together or university. So there were all possibilities, but I felt like they were too obvious as possibilities.
Well, I will say the other thing for me is they during this scene where we're meeting all the people involved in Luke's life, we meet the grandfather too. And the grandfather's played by Darren McGavin, who was like an older film star. I don't know like what else he was famous for, but what he's most famous for in my eyes is A Christmas Story, which is like a very it was done in the 80s and now it's become like a big tradition in the US to watch that one. There's like a cable channel that used to run it all day. Like they would play it back to back to back to back on Christmas. So because he's a big star, it made me obviously think it was going to be him, because I was like, why else is he in it to just be in the background in a few scenes? They've clearly hired this bigger named actor. He's going to have a bigger role in it.
Yeah, so I mean, with the therapist, there's a scene, I just want to talk about a few scenes that I thought were a bit like, what's going on here? Obviously, throughout the film, she's trying to find out more about Elijah Wood, and we'll go through what, like, the Peter Pan stuff in a bit, but, like, there's that scene where she goes off with the detective and invites him over to her house after having, like, I think they went for a meal or something and just had a chat to get to know each other a bit more. And she just invites him in and says, like, do you want to have some fun?
She says, I wrote it down. She said, let's get this over with. This is raw sex and nothing more. And then she said, I'm not good at romance, but I'm not bad in bed.
Do you feel like that came out of nowhere? Like, that was none of her character, and now she's turned into this, like...
Yeah, I would have said that was not her character through the rest of the film.
But no. This wasn't right after... They'd gone out to the meal, and then he came back another time, because she was fully undressed in her house during this. She opens the door and isn't like, oh, hold on a second, let me put some clothes on. She's like probably naked with a slinky robe on and lets him in.
She doesn't give that vibe. She gives that vibe of just like, oh, I'm a therapist, I'm just getting on with my day-to-day job.
And then he almost takes, the moral high ground of like, no, I won't be used for my body. I want to have a whole relationship
You're
now.
wrong.
And then he takes her on a romantic date on a police boat or something.
Yeah.
Now, take this with a grain of salt, because I read it on Wikipedia, but I read somewhere that, like, the selling point of doing this film for Jo Beth Williams was the romance.
I read that as well, and I did think that's not really a massive part of this movie, and the romance isn't greatly, like, explored, really.
Yeah.
Like, they have, like, one kiss, don't they?
A little peck on the cheek.
Don't remember.
Do they have a kiss?
I can't remember.
I'm sure they do.
Maybe, they must do.
Yes, they do. It's in the car park.
Oh, make out. I have make out.
Oh,
kissing.
yeah!
Kissing is so loud.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that romance for a minute. What happened in the...
So that's after their day on the boat, isn't it?
Yeah.
He drives her back home, and then they have a heart-to-heart in the car. I can't really remember what that one is about.
I think.
Isn't it about how she can't have children?
Oh, yeah. It's like her husband left her. They wanted to have kids together. She couldn't have children. He went with somebody else, and then that woman didn't want to have children.
And he said, that's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, worst ex-husband.
Yeah.
I wrote another line down from this scene. He says, what kind of woman pulls down her bed sheets for a man but won't bare her soul?
I was there, yeah. Why don't you tell me more about you? And she's like, okay. Trauma dumps on him, and then he's like, oh, that's hot, let's kiss. And then they start properly.
Yeah, let's have a make-out session.
And it's like,
he's like, I'll get you fertile. That is the scene we do need to discuss.
What's that?
Elijah Wood running away and getting hit by a car.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, okay, let's go for some scenes that we thought would really stood out for us. So yeah, let's do.
So I can't really remember why he runs away, but he does run away at one point, and he runs in front of a car, and he apparently gets run over, but it barely touches him.
Yeah.
He has a bruise on his arm, doesn't he?
And everybody's at the hospital, like mother, grandpa, and then the 3 friends too are for some reason there.
And he's apparently got like concussion, but old Tom Skerritt's still like, who killed your dad?
Yeah, he's like, I want to go see my dad.
Yeah, he says maybe.
Who killed him first?
Maybe it would have been better. I could be with my dad. Oh, and then that's where we move from. That must be when he finally starts to open up to this therapist, because that's when we get the first, when she decides to do art therapy on him to get him to start talking.
Yeah, and these pictures, my God, a 9-year-old has never drawn so well.
They are some very detailed Peter Pan pictures.
And then it goes into some sort of like fairy tale world where Elijah Wood is dressed like Peter Pan, and then there's this old bloke, which obviously we thought it was the granddad, but
yeah, we thought it was the granddad.
It wasn't, but it was some old bloke playing Captain Hook, and it was very like, I don't know, what did you think of it? It was just very like awkward, panto, like what's going on?
It took you out of the tone of the movie straight away.
I was like, I want to see more of this production.
Can we, for the American audiences, maybe define what panto means?
Okay.
Oh, so panto is something that, we're going with the Christmas theme here. Every year we do like what we call a pantomime, which is a very like, I'd say like a cheap
Campy
rendition of a popular fairy tale, but they sort of give it a Christmas twist.
Oh, jeez.
And usually it has some like actors, like it's on stage obviously at local theatres, but you usually get like actors that have been in our soaps that have now since retired that turn up.
Yeah.
We say we like roll them out of retirement for panto season.
Yeah.
Oof, I gotta look this up on YouTube.
You definitely should dive into the world of panto, yeah.
Never heard of this.
But my favourite kind of cuts to the Captain Hook stuff was the nighttime scene when he's like, okay, so I heard Captain Hook in his chambers, so I sneaked on. It's all this intenseness, and then he's like, Captain Hook was with my mum. Yeah, it's the most prolific thing I've ever thought would be in a film. And someone saying that as a line, I was like, what are we watching?
You know what though? It kind of, I thought it was clever. Like it was an interesting take. Okay. I was amused by it. As cheesy as it looked.
I just thought, like, what's it like filming that? Like, obviously they have to do a few takes. And the mum character's got to lay there, and this old bloke just like, he's a Mr. Smee. But I feel like maybe Elijah Wood was like, this is great. This is my first big performance. I'm playing Peter Pan. It's a killer thing. I've got so much screen time now. Yeah.
Well, and also it felt jarring between the weird sort of fantasy Peter Pan mixed with the, kind of gritty mystery. And
what did we? Is there any other scenes? I was going to talk about Elijah Wood's performance, but do you want to talk about any other scenes?
Maybe we can just touch on the end real quick, just like the end chase scene. They go back to the scene of the crime, and Grandpa follows them there, and that's where we fully get the reveal that Grandpa is the killer. And so Elijah Wood hides again, and then he chases after the therapist, and man, he gets that hook right into the calf of her leg. Like it was really
in there,
gory for like a TV. She's hobbling around.
She does hobble.
Somehow they're outside, and Grandpa just bursts through the window.
Oh, the stunt man. Yeah.
It's amazing. She manages to find the key to the warehouse, runs outside, but instead of running far away from the building, she decides to like skulk around the edge of it like they do in these horror films. And then some stunt man as Granddad bursts out of the window, rugby tackles her to the floor. Yeah, it's quite a great scene though. and
then Grandpa comes to his senses by the kid poking out and like calling for him.
The detective turns up ready to gun him down. He's got his gun in hand, and just little Elijah being like, please don't hurt my granddad. Then he's like, actually, I thought better of it now.
Because he doesn't, because Elijah Wood goes over to the granddad and he's like, come on, granddad, let's go. And then he like walks him over. There's this like wide shot of him just walking over this like murderer to the police and go, this is my grandpa, don't hurt him. And they're like, he's got like a gun in hand, like Elijah Wood's right in front of the gun barrel. Like, it was very like,
I mean, before this, we find out the reason that the grandpa killed the dad.
Oh, yeah, go for it. What was the reason? Why did he end up killing the dad?
Grandpa, which we probably could have guessed, was mentally unsound. and the father was going to be putting him into some sort of care home, and apparently he didn't want to go, so he was going to take the dad out, is what I've got. So in the safe that they'd gone to was paperwork to get him put away. Was that right?
Yeah. So
There was also a transfer. I had it highlighted somewhere, like some sort of like deed of a buy-sell agreement was missing. So maybe he was also selling part of the business.
But as per Elijah Wood, his mum had actually had an affair with the grandpa because she was lonely at the house, and the grandpa's wife, or Nan, I suppose, had died, so she and him got together.
She just said she wanted to get back at her husband because her husband was seeing other women, I think.
But was he actually seeing other women?
From her perspective, maybe, I don't know. But then she was like, you know what, I'm going to get him upset and sleep with the dad.
He did have a secretary that got murdered as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'd completely just forgotten about until just now.
And the cab driver.
So
Sharon.
Yeah. So the dad had a secretary who got fired a few weeks before this happened. She's at home suffering a cold, which I think was actually true because they were like, I don't think she has got a cold. But she did, didn't she? Her mum was looking after her. But then the granddad turns up and murders both of them.
It's funny. I was so confused in that scene at first because we saw very little of we've seen very little of like some of these suspect characters. So whenever we see her dead in the bed, I said, oh wait, is that the mom and Captain Hook in bed? Oh wait, no. Now the wife is dead. Hook is washing up.
No, she's fine.
Who was the dead guy? Is that Sharon? Oh wait, no, that's her mom.
Yeah. Who's this? This is, I don't understand what's going on. But yeah.
Yeah, there was probably more characters introduced than needed to be.
And like classic like 90s, like you said, Nat, you always like a bit of an end scene where it shows you what they've been doing after the murder, but no.
Oh, I like an epilogue.
Yeah, epilogue, no epilogue this
they
time.
never no epilogue.
Just a freeze frame, they're on the boat.
It really annoys me. Why can't films have proper endings? Like, you've spent all this time with the characters. I just need one extra scene that's like a week later.
Yeah.
This is what's going on.
He's at school.
I hate it when they finish at the last bit.
What would you do as the epilogue then? I would put Elijah Wood on a play as Peter Pan or something on.
The detective and the therapist, out of work time, have just gone to see Elijah, maybe at the park where she took him to earlier, and instead of him acting all like, oh, Captain Hook and that, he's just acting like a normal child for a bit. And that would have been enough.
Maybe Elijah Wood is performing as Peter Pan beats Captain Hook.
Well, no, because I want him to get over the Peter Pan trauma. I don't want him to be Peter Pan anymore. I want him to just being a normal child that doesn't have to worry about anything. They've come as a couple, maybe, and they're just like, how are you doing now? Because he obviously has got a rapport with the therapist now. So that's a perfect epilogue scene. It doesn't even need to be 3 minutes long.
Then freeze frame.
He breaks his little swashbuckling sword in half. I don't need Peter Pan anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
That's better, actually. Yeah, I'll have that one. So speaking of Little Elijah,
I will be releasing the director's cut.
yeah, you're gonna quickly go ask him, film him.
Yeah.
Can you film this for us, please?
Can you just put an epilogue on your bloody movie?
I will say, I'm very curious about this. And looking through what we were going to watch for Into the Wood, one of the next things he did was a Disney, like, I'm No Fool short. Like, these had been done in the past with Jiminy Cricket. I'm no fool, no siree. And it would, like, teach you safety about something. And in it, Elijah Wood plays Peter Pan, teaching about, like, rollerblading safety or something. And I wonder if this film...
Oh, it's an audition for his Peter Pan.
Yeah.
So yeah, Elijah Wood's performance, what were we thinking? I think from what we've seen so far...
I thought he was great in this. As a child actor in this, he did carry it pretty much.
Yeah, agreed.
He was emotionally charged. He knew when to stop being too dramatic. He was sad. He used those little blue eyes of his to really make it emotional. I don't know what his haircut was all about. It was a bit of a mop, but again, it was the 90s.
They really wanted to establish that he was like it was cold weather. He was cold at all times. He, in almost every scene, had a button-down shirt, a sweater, and a parka on.
Yeah, he was proper like ready for the cold weather, right? The cold weather of Seattle.
But no, I agree. I thought he, like it, I can understand why he started getting real feature film roles after this.
Okay, so with that sort of rundown of that hilarious film that we've all managed to get through, again, if you have not seen it and you've decided to listen to us talk about it, you might be intrigued. maybe I'll check out this performance for myself. It's on YouTube. Go check it out. It's cool. But first, we need to give our 2 limes and lemon rating for the movie, Elijah Wood's performance, and maybe pick a character that we like the most and dislike. I'll go first this time because I'm always going, who wants to go first?
Yeah.
I'm doing it. I'm going to go first.
So selfish.
I am. This is my show now. This is called The Dave Podcast, featuring Danielle and Natalie. So anyway, I think you could cut that.
Yeah, if I'm the one that's editing this, then I think we'll be leaving that in.
you just edit in like a totally different voice going, "Hi, I'm Dave and I'm a poophead," or something.
So I think Elijah Wood's performance, start with him first. I think I'm going to give him, last time I gave him 3.5, I'm going to give him a 3.8 limes out of lemons.
Oh my god, I thought you were deserving of better.
Yeah, surprised.
I can't say 4 because if he's going to keep getting higher, I'm going to be like 5s all the way. I need to sort of just limit that a bit. But again, he might have a bad performance coming up, so I'm going to go a 3.8.
I gave him a 4.5.
I did as well.
Oh. Okay, go on then. Why?
Why? Because he basically carried the movie, and that's a very hard thing to do when you've got 2 well-known established actors. But the highlight of it was still this 9-year-old, at this time unknown actor, that's managed to carry a whole plot all by his little lonesome. And
Agreed.
For a child actor that didn't make you want to kill him by the end of it, because a lot of child actors aren't that great.
Elijah Wood, who was secretly listening to this episode, as soon as he heard 3.8, was like, no more. No more Dave.
Yeah. And you call yourself the Elijah fan. You should be giving him 5 across the board.
I am, but I would be, but then that's too generous and too like, oh, Elijah Wood, oh.
I mean, that's pretty much how it comes across anyway.
Yeah. Every clip is just me.
I love Elijah.
Danielle, you said 4.5, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, I agree with all of Natalie's points, I think. Especially for a child actor, this was really well done. And again, I see why, following this, he started getting a lot more film roles.
However, now let's rate the overall movie.
Yeah, do you want to do characters first?
Oh, we could do characters first. Who wants to go first?
I loved... Okay, obviously, Elijah Wood's the best one. But if I'm not looking at Elijah Wood, I would say I liked Captain Hook the best, because I was like, the outfit, like, what the fuck moments, what's going on here, can we see more of this actor, like, what is he doing now? Yeah, he was great. And people I didn't like, probably the mum, because she wasn't really, I don't know, she just didn't do it, she wasn't that good.
I'll go. My favorite character, and I can't find where I wrote down what he said, was a random who I really liked him, and then he didn't show up again in the whole thing. They kind of allude to him, but it's like the head of the unions who's like fighting on the dock, and he says something like, "I didn't like the man, but I didn't want him dead." And then like punches somebody in the face.
Struck you, and you were like, "This is the best. We need more of this guy."
My least favorite was Tom Skerritt as Bass. I thought he was just like this, I don't know, stereotypical sort of macho man cop who, bleh. I didn't like him.
For me, it's a bit more complex in that both my favourite and my worst characters were both of them, the Detective Bass and Dr. Hollis. Because there were moments when I was like, oh, that's the better one out of the 2. And then they would say or do something. I'm like, oh, you're just awful. And then the other one would like come to the forefront and be like, I'm the nice one now. But it was almost like they always had to get the upper hand on each other of like, who is now going to share their trauma. And you'd be like, oh, I feel a bit sorry for you. And then they'd do something in the next scene that you were like, oh, you're awful.
But yeah. So, okay, the film itself then, I'm going to give it probably like 2.5 limes out of 5, just because it's a normal film. It's a normal film. It's got nothing major. I'm not going to watch it ever again. I'll probably tell people to go watch it. But if you are looking just for Elijah Wood's first bits of performance, you want to see what he's doing, then yeah, go for it. But as a film itself, I would be like, nah, that's forgotten about.
I have given it 3 limes out of 5. I enjoyed it. A murder mystery movie. It was good. There was nothing glaring that was awful about it. It was just some of the character portrayals, really, that I had issues with. So I couldn't really fault it. So I just give it middle ground of a 3.
I'm going with Dave. I'm going to give it 2.5. I thought if the romance subplot had been there, I think if it had been the child psychiatrist and the boy and maybe them solving the murder together and get rid of the bass completely, then I might have given it a 3.5, but 2.5 with what it was.
If they'd have got rid of the romance for me, I'd have given it like a 1.5. The romance to me was hilarious, and I did enjoy it because it was hilarious.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think they knew what they were doing with some of these scenes. We're like, let's just make him walk away from the love scene. But then, would you ever want to watch the love scene?
No, I 100% not. But because it was handled so weirdly, it was almost like a comedy, I suppose.
Yeah.
I just thought it was hilarious.
From the name alone and the hook, it gives an idea that Elijah Wood is this killer coming around and killing off people in the night. That's what I expected.
Like the Night Stalker.
Yeah, like he's killing babysitters left, right, and centre. But no, it was someone else.
Yeah, no, the name definitely needs a rework.
What would you call it?
I would have done some twist on it having the whole pan thing.
Yeah, or like the hook thing. Like hooked on a, I don't know.
Hooked on a
I
story.
was going to say hooked on a feeling, but they've already kind of done that. But that could have been the theme tune, I suppose.
Hook, line and sinker.
Oh, there we go. Hook, line and sinker. It was about fishing boats.
Yeah.
Or hook, line and stinker because his dad's dead body started smelling.
Yeah. It's an epilogue and then you'll be fine. And then
An epilogue would have put that score up to like a 5.
So that is the end of Elijah Wood's sort of interwards
The
journey
first
so
part of
far.
it, anyway.
Yeah, first part. We are going to come back because we aren't going to watch 2 cameos and a and a film with Min and ending it there. So we're getting a checkpoint. We've got a camp. We've got the campfire going. We're all nice and cozy, but we're going to stay here for a little while and then maybe look some other ways and look at some other movies that we're going to come across. Does anyone want to give a little hint what they are, or should we?
We can say what the theme of the movies is.
We're going to do summer blockbusters. These are big hits from the summertime, right in time for the current heat waves that we're all experiencing.
Yeah.
Are we going to tell them which one we're going to watch, or are we just saying?
First of all, whose are we going to do first then? We can tell him.
Had we decided amongst ourselves?
I mean, I know what one I'm picking.
I do too. Yours is the big splashy one, I think. It's the one that I first thought.
I'm going to kick off with my favourite summer blockbuster when I was a child, which was Independence Day.
I'm excited to watch Independence Day.
Me too. I've not seen it for a very long time.
Me too. I haven't seen it in lots of years. And I'm going to call it a standalone film because the sequel is atrocious. But yeah, so we'll see you next week for Independence Day.
All right, I'll see you all next time and enjoy. And if you haven't yet, actually, little plug-in, if you want to join us on Instagram, we've been throwing some questions out there. How do you find us, Danielle?
Go to Instagram and you look up 2 Limes and a Lemon podcast.
We might follow you back. You never know. See you next time. Bye.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.